Welcome to Your Health Today with Charlie Rouse. In our program today, we'll talk about health issues that are important to you and your family and how products from the world of natural medicine can help us all stay strong, fit, and healthy. And now, here's your host of Your Health Today, Chris Hall.
Welcome to Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse. I'm Chris Hall, your host. It's good to have you with us today. And it's a beautiful day in South Georgia. Dr. Rouse, I broke out my USA hat today. I feel in a patriotic mood today with everything that's going on in the world. And, before we get into our medical stuff, you and I kind of look at the world through the pages of the Bible. That's our lens. We kind of look at what's happening in the world and make a determination, okay, is something else going on than what's going on the surface? And I think you and I are pretty much in agreement that the one who made this world and who is in charge of this world is at work in this world in some pretty significant ways, don't you think?
I would say significant. He is sovereign. He is in control. And, there's no doubt that God is working.
Yes.
The sad thing, Chris, is that 10 years ago, 9/11, God gave America a wake-up call. In the past, and I started studying revivals, and just to see what motivated them, where'd they come from. And in every case, the world was in the situation we are in right now. Yeah. And I'd say, we're either in for a revival or ruin.
Yes.
And I know you and I are praying and talking to our Christian brothers and sisters. And if there's ever been a time, brothers and sisters, it's time to do some serious, fervent prayer. And I mean praying. Prayerlessness and a lack of humility has caused us to be in what we is today.
Yeah. And so, and very much are we praying for what's happening in the world. And there's so many things. It's kind of all converging together, which is a sign in itself of the end times. Well, let's get into some things we want to talk about today. Of course, Dr. Charlie Rouse, you know him as the medicine man. Now, you can go to his website, drcharlie.com. And Dr. Charlie, I go there often. I just go there to see what's happening, what's going on. Every now and then, I have a question. Somebody asks me a question about something they may have heard us talk about. So I'll try to do a little research there. And I would just encourage people to go. You can peruse around there. Miss Holly did a beautiful job of one of your staff members there did a beautiful job of constructing that website. Hundreds of products are listed and what they're good for and how they address this. And you have all kinds of information there. And people actually can order products at drcharlie.com. So it's a beautiful website, and we encourage folks to check out that. Also, you're very accessible to people. If somebody gives you a call and says, Dr. Charlie, I need to talk to you about who I am, what's going on with me or somebody in my family, and is there something you can suggest in a natural way to help us to feel better, to do better? You're more than happy to talk with folks, and you'll do it in person in the store there at on Dawson Road in Albany, Georgia. Also, you'll do it online. You'll do it over the phone. You're very accessible. So if anyone would like to say, Dr. Charlie, can I have a doctor's appointment? And you don't charge a thing either, which is unusual. You can call Dr. Rouse at 229-436-0100. And I know folks, and I come into your store often just to kind of hang out. And I see people come in all the time and they have that question. They'll lean across the counter there and they'll say, Dr. Rouse, this is this. And in fact, I was by there, earlier today as we taped this program. Someone came in, leaned over the corner, the corner of the office there at your counter and said, Dr. Rouse, this is going on. And you said, I can fix you right up. Now, have you ever had a question that stumps you? Have you ever had somebody come in and say, well, I don't know, I'm going to have to study on that? Have you ever had that happen?
I have. The neat thing about it is that Medicine is broad, and there's so many things I don't have an inkling of an idea about. But I guarantee you that, with DuckDuck and Google, we can find a lot of resources to get to the root. Once I know the root, then that's where my medical training gives me such an advantage that there really are, every condition, medical problem, there really are natural solutions. God has taken care of business, and it's been a pleasure, Chris, to study for the last 30 years, just natural medicine.
Yeah, and you're so pleasant to talk to, and you take time with folks, and I know they appreciate it. Well, let's talk about a couple of things. I have a couple of friends who they deal with nerve pain, and one is a diabetic, and another person has some kind of condition that will cause nerve pain. Now that's a painful thing, and if it's a chronic situation, and sometimes for these folks it hits mostly at night when they relax, lay in the bed or whatever, and they'll begin to get that pulsating pain. Let's talk a little bit about that, where that comes from, and something that maybe God has provided out of the world of natural medicine to help deal with nerve pain.
And that is a great question. The word nerve pain, medically they call it neuralgia. Algia is pain of, and neuralgia. It could be tendonitis, or even a tennis elbow, or a bursitis, a carpal tunnel in the wrist. It could be, like you said, diabetes. Shows up with neuropathy. That's in the feet and the fingers primarily, or worse yet, it's in the eye. And believe it or not, people who are depressed, Chris, we're dealing with inflammation of the brain. And unless that inflammation is dealt with properly, all the antidepressants in the world are not going to be able to function as they could or should. We learn from Alzheimer's research that in all Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, all of those are brain dysfunctions, and they all have a massive amount of inflammation. That's part of it, nerve inflammation. And a lot of times edema, the swelling in the ankles, and the knees and the wrist and the fingers are actually where the nerve first got inflamed. All right, so now we know what it is. Neuralgia is neuralgia. Neuropathy is neuropathy. The pain is in the nerve. Why? And here's where research has just opened the door. We have found that if and when people have nerve pain of any sort, they're always deficient in two major necessities that they're lacking: B number 6 and magnesium. It's as simple as that. And until they replace B number 6 and the magnesium, then it doesn't matter how many pain pills they want to slap on there, we ain't going nowhere. So when it comes to neuropathy, so when it comes to neuralgia, so when it comes to carpal tunnel wrist problems, or sciatic nerves, or any other nerve pain type of situations, B6 magnesium becomes a necessity. Now, when you take that in on a daily basis, the body's able to refurbish, and the body is able to start healing. Now your pain medications can become more effective. Now your natural pain medications, whether it's going to be hurt no more or relieve, whatever your choice is from Dr. Charlie, now those nutritions work better. And B6, that's a major vitamin. It's a B vitamin, but it controls every hormone in the human body. And if you don't think we got hormones, just be without one sometime and see what misery feels like.
Yeah, wow, very interesting, and you're not talking about very expensive items. B6 and magnesium, yeah, very cost effective. Almost anybody can afford it, and so it gives you a good foundation, so that when you take something for the pain, at least you got a good foundation there, and it'll make that other stuff work better. Right?
That is correct. And all you need is like 30 milligrams of B6 and 100 milligrams of magnesium. It's not like you got to take 4 or 5 capsules a day, just one dose a day. And now they made it so easy. Some companies put both of those vitamins in one capsule.
Cool. So if you want more information about that, if you're in the Albany area, and it's worth the drive, if you're close, you can go to 2416 Suite 4 Dawson Road in Albany, Georgia, and Dr. Rouse will be happy to talk to you about B6 and magnesium, or you can give him a call, 229-436-0100. And if you want to send an email to Dr. Rouse, you can do that as well. Dr. Rouse at att.net. Now, you spell out the Dr. Rouse at att.net, and he'll be happy to communicate with you. It may take him a little while, but he'll get to you. I promise you. You'll be in line, and he'll get to you. Dr. Rouse, I do try to, read about what's happening in as far as health is concerned for my own self personally, and for my family, but also I'm very interested in. Okay, I've reached that age, I'm, 68, so I know it's very important, for just maintenance of my body and to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to stay strong and healthy. I have a goal of staying as healthy as I can for as long as I can, to enjoy my family and to serve the Lord as long as I can, and to enjoy the life that God has blessed me with. And so I do some reading every now and then, and sit down and say, okay, what can I learn today? And I look for the headlines in the news. I read an article recently, and how Dr. Rouse, when you preach sometimes, and people are sitting out there in the pew, and you're really getting on it, and they're saying to themselves, they may not say it out loud, but they'll say it to themselves, Dr. Rouse is really meddling today because you're hitting close to home. Well, I read an article, and it went to meddling a little bit. It was an article that compared what, the Mediterranean diet with what was called the Southern dietary pattern. You got the Mediterranean diet and the Southern dietary pattern. And so there was a comparison of this, and boy, did it ever go to meddling. The Mediterranean diet has a lot of vegetables, fruits, legumes, cereals, and fish, according, to this article. The Southern pattern diet includes a lot of fats, fried food, eggs, egg dishes, organ meats, processed meats, and sugar-sweetened beverages. Now, that sounds like South Georgia, doesn't it? That does. But here's the thing. People whose Southern dietary pattern score was among the top quarter of participants had a 46% higher risk of sudden cardiac death than those who were on the lower quarter of the spectrum. In other words, if you're gonna enjoy your Southern dietary pattern, and that's going to be what that's going to be your main intake, you might be setting yourself up for a little trouble. So, how can we still enjoy our Southern food, but kind of mitigate it a little bit? So how do we work on our diet?
You're right. And man, you put it in a good way there too, that people can understand. Well, the Southern diet has now become the standard American diet. And boy, you know how that's abbreviated. Standard American diet, SAD.
Yeah.
Difficult. And my mama always said, Charles, when you eat, you need to have a rainbow of colors on your plates. And the more color, the red and the yellow, the green, the purples, the more color, the healthier. And I remember that from a little child, and even to this day. Like yesterday, I had rutabagas. They were orange, and I had turnip greens. They were green. And, lima beans were light green, and corn is yellow. See how it is?
Yeah.
But we get so used to eating macaroni and mashed potatoes, and then you said all the fried stuff. And the truth is that that's nerve pain activating. And look, when the whole system gets inflamed, that inflammation in the heart is what's taking people out. So you're right. And it wouldn't take much. It really would not take much. What's the number one food vegetable in America? A potato chip? Number one.
Oh,
and I doubt if number 2 or 3 get any better, than that. And, from macaroni and cheese right on down. But there's nothing that's going to kill you if you eat that in proportion, and on your plate you really do have the others. So let's say it's hamburger night, and the 2 pieces of bread don't necessarily have to make the hamburger, but the meat's good for you. Where's the lettuce? Where's the tomato? Where's the pickle? Now you've added the color to your plate, and the more color you put on your plate, the more polyphenols that you get, and the more cancer prevention your food becomes, and cardiovascular your food becomes. So go for it. And then people say, what about them fats? He mentioned fats. And I said, well, there's good and bad. And most of the time when we're frying something, we're going to be in the bad section. But let me tell you 2 fats that most people have erroneously thrown away but are very good for your heart. Milk, but not 2% or skim. Whole fat, real buttered milk. Real milk with the butter in it. Not buttermilk, but milk. Yeah. Whole milk. That is healthy. Number 2, butter. Butter is very healthy for the heart. Not margarine, but butter. And, sometimes just getting back into the healthy swing of things. And you mentioned that diet eats fish. And let me tell you, there's a lot of good fish, and you don't have to fry all the fish for it to be good. And go for it. Get it in there. And if you don't eat fish on a regular basis, do like Dr. Charlie does. I follow a fish oil pill every day, so that my brain, I don't want my brain into the Alzheimer's zone. I want my brain to be vibrant.
Right. It takes some planning too. My dear bride and myself, we kind of we really think about, what we're going to eat and kind of plan it out a little bit and make sure that we're not going to just constantly have, that Southern diet that we talked about. In fact, when we fry, we use a greaseless pan. We fry it. We got one of those pans that's, you can just fry stuff and you don't have to add grease to it and all that kind of stuff. So it does take some planning. And, but you want people to stay healthy. My grandchildren tell me all the time, they say, Papa, you eat good because we love you and we want you to stay around. Now, if that won't motivate you, to do the best you can to stay healthy, then nothing will. So
you said you were 68 and you want them grandkids to love you. I'm going to say like Paul, just follow me. And I'm 6 years out ahead of Chris, so I've been leading his way. And, we're not designed to live forever, but hey, what we got, let's take care of it because it's important to God.
Absolutely. But also, I kind of ran across something. The CDC, bless their hearts, they've had some troubles, with in a lot of ways. But the CDC recent report says that obesity is affecting 93.3 million American adults and 13.7 million children in America. And in fact, they're currently doing a study in America and globally that because of the COVID situation and people kind of being locked in their homes and that kind of thing, that they expect the obesity numbers to go even higher. Now, obviously, we know that obesity. What is the difference between being overweight and being obese? I know there's a line there somewhere where you say, okay, if you're here, you're obese. If you're here, you're just pleasantly plump. But that's something to think about, because obesity really, really complicates everything as far as your health is concerned, right?
It is. And then in medicine, they talk about morbid obesity, in COVID, the comorbidity, the things that people had in common that died of a simple virus. Now, look, COVID, SARS, the virus, it has a 99+ % survival rate. It's not a killer. But why did these people die? And the comorbidity, the factors that were involved were two in particular. One was they were extremely overweight. And to answer your question, is the body can just assimilate and absorb so much with so much fat. And if there's more fat than there is lean body muscle, we're in trouble. And the comorbidity was that the people who died of COVID, they were vitamin D deficient, and they were extremely overweight. Some were 300 and 400 pounds.
So just exercise, at the beginning of all this stuff, I got me a treadmill, I invested in a treadmill, like to broke my back to get the thing in the house. But and I enjoy walking outside as well. But, sometimes in the South, it gets hot. You got those bugs flying all around you, and you get tired of fighting the gnats and things like that. But I really try to keep a good regimen of walking, eating healthy as you can, and exercise. You got to move. And generally, I try to walk maybe 30 or 40 minutes at the time. I give me a book, put it up there on my treadmill thing, and I'll read while I walk. And it's a pleasant experience. It's not a hard thing. And I enjoy reading, and I enjoy walking. And in fact, I went to the doctor just today as we tape what we're taping. And he was very complimentary on my blood pressure. He said it was great, and my heart rate and all that kind of stuff. So, just move, get out there and move a little bit. And I know you're a big believer in exercise. You do it yourself, you and Miss Janice, right?
We do it. And it doesn't take much for cardiovascular blood sugar benefits. Matter of fact, those that were doing the studies on the Mediterranean diet said that if we only walk 3 days out of the week, so hey, that's 4 we don't walk.
Yeah.
And if you only walk 3 days out of the week, even if you did a minimum, and that's 5 minutes by the clock, 5 minutes out, turn around and walk back 5 minutes. That's 10 minutes, 3 times a week, 5 out, 5 back. You're going to be in the top 98% of all the athletes in the world. That just shows you, Chris, we're in pathetic position worldwide.
So
98%.
Now, if you're interested, you want to talk to Dr. Rouse and say, Dr. Rouse, I'm just going to be honest with you. I need to lose some weight. I need it. And I don't, I've never dieted, but I have changed lifestyle eating. I think, I don't know if diets work for me in the short term, but they're not a long-term solution. In order for you to really lose weight and sustain it in a healthy way, you've got to change lifestyle. Dieting just won't do it. Am I right? Am I right about that?
You're right. I was talking to one of my pharmacist friends in British Columbia yesterday, and we formulate. And he said, one thing I ain't going to formulate, Charlie, is a diet pill, because it's not a pill. It's a lifestyle. And I can give them a pill all day long, but I can't really help them unless they make that major change in their lifestyle.
Another thing I came across, Dr. Rouse, in my reading, you should be so proud of me. I've been studious. I came across this. And he was talking about supplementing with vitamin C and E. And I came across a very interesting statement in this study. It said, compared to non-supplementers, in other words, those who don't supplement with vitamin C or vitamin E, in other words, those who supplement, those who supplement have a 38% lower risk for dementia and 40% lower risk for Alzheimer's disease. So non-supplementers compared to supplementers, the supplementers, 38% lower risk for dementia, 40% for Alzheimer's disease. Now, my bride and I, when all of this started, we got our regimen out. We take vitamin C, we take vitamin D3, we take our zinc. Our fingernails are constantly growing with our zinc, and of course we supplement with the glutathione. So, and it takes about a week for you to say, okay, I need to take this now, to get in the routine of taking it. But we take vitamin C, and vitamin E is supplemented in other ways as well. That's just a simple thing to take a vitamin C or a vitamin E, but the benefits are so great. I wish everybody would make an appointment with you and sit down and say, Dr. Rouse, tell me how I need to supplement. Tell me what I need to do to make sure I'm getting what I need to get. Now, is a multivitamin, is that the answer?
That would be a very good answer. And especially if that multivitamin is powerful enough to take care of business, because without the fruits and the vegetables and the vitamin or the vitamin C and the, the antioxidants, if I gave them a blanket statement, multivitamin is good enough, then I'd be erroneously sending them in the wrong direction, because most vitamins sold at Walmart and the drugstores, they have some lacking integrity. And so if you'd like to know about a good multi, I'd be more than happy to tell you. And yeah, you can buy a good multi at Walmart in the drugstore, but most of them are not.
Yeah.
Just be cautious what you pick up. And one thing you can always examine on your multivitamin is your vitamin E. And on the back panel, in vitamin E, when it writes out the name, if it has a letter L, that stands for lousy. So let's say on the back panel it said vitamin E, and then it had the name DL tocopherol. Well, that L, that tells you it's lousy. And you know what? It's on every vitamin bottle. It has an L or doesn't have an L. And if it has an L, then your vitamin needs to go in the trash. And you need to see somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, see Dr. Rouse. Call Dr. Rouse. He'll help you supplement. And just quickly, Dr. Rouse, just a couple of other things. I love glutathione. I'm a glutathione convert, and we've talked often about glutathione. And I saw this come across the wire the other day. It says research shows that patients with mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease have a lower glutathione level in certain areas of the brain. Glutathione drops with age. And so, again, Alzheimer's, and cognitive impairment and dementia. It's a common thing. In fact, it's growing. I saw a report today that during the pandemic, deaths due to dementia and Alzheimer's rose dramatically. Boy, we need our glutathione, don't we?
It is God's creation, and it is the master molecule that God, the Creator, puts in every cell of the human body. It's the only molecule that goes into every cell of the human body. So science had to look and say, why? It's there to detox you. And you know what? You know, your body needs detoxing. And glutathione is the way God prescribed it. So I'm like you, Chris. I take my glutathione every day.
Yeah, it's very important. And just one other thing. Another report I saw, about 50% of American women, 25% of American men over 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis.
Hey, you know what they did find out? That most of us get plenty of calcium. It's in all of our vegetables. Collard greens, broccoli, carrots, calcium in the cheese, calcium in the ice cream, calcium, we got it. Why didn't it go into the bones? K2. And once they found the secret, one little teeny tiny little dose of K2 every day, K2 will make your calcium go to the bones and not to your kidney with a kidney stone and not to your heart with a bypass surgery needed. Make it go to your bones. K2.
In fact, the study, as you say, the study said that for centuries, physicians in Japan have used high doses of vitamin K2 to prevent bone loss and protect against fractures.
They're smart. I like those Japanese.
There you go. A lot of good stuff. Well, Dr. Rouse, I could talk to you all day long about all of this stuff. And thank you so much for joining us today. Now, again, if you'd like to get in contact with Dr. Rouse, you can do so. You can call 229-436-0100. The phone is always ringing at the Medicine Man's Corner, but they take time. They'll talk to you. And you can check out drcharlie.com, drcharlie.com. Be sure to check that out. And you can also send Dr. Rouse an email, drrouse@att.net. And often when I go and see Dr. Rouse, he's sitting at the computer. He's answering emails. So you're a good man. Well, Dr. Rouse, any closing words for us today?
May the Lord bless you. And thank you, Jesus, for giving us all these good, wholesome foods.
Amen. Amen. Let's eat our veggies and our fruits now. Let's get at it. All right, Dr. Rouse, thank you for joining us. We'll join you again next time. Until then, may everybody be blessed.
Thank you for joining us for our program today. You can reach Dr. Rouse online through his website, themedicineman.com, or you can email Dr. Rouse at drrouse@att.net. Dr. Rouse is also available by phone at 229-436-0100. Join us again next time for Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse. Until then, please stay safe and may God bless you.